as promised, sharing my whole cloth quilt adventure with you. Before I go ahead and quilt my whole cloth, which isn't actually a whole cloth, it's several whole cloths, blocks, big blocks that are going to be quilted in whole cloth style. I have to learn a few techniques, test them out, really, is what I'm doing. So I have my scratch pad quilt here. Okay, you may have seen me do what I call template applique. On the cutie frame, where I place the fabric on top of the quilt, I stitch, then trim. The technique I want to do now was developed by Sew Steady. It's called TEMP LEE. It's a little different. First, I take the picker fabric and I iron on Heat and Bond Light on the back. And then I place that fabric on top of the batting with the right side up, obviously, and just below the top fabric, the top of the quilt. Then I stitch my pattern, and I have it placed where I want it to come out, peek out, and then I trim the top very carefully. Let's see how it works. I am using, I'll show you here, I'm using very black fabric. So finding that picker fabric is really difficult. I put the Heat and Bond on it, I placed the piece here, you can barely see it, but I put these guides here so I would know where to place my pattern. Now, the pattern, I picked the pattern off the pattern I would be using a section, and I decided to stitch out this circle with arcs. And then I'm going to cut this section. This is going to be my picker fabric right here. So I went and stitched it without thread, and I'm going to pounce it onto the top of the quilt top. So I'm just checking this to make sure that this ball is in the area I want it in. I'm going to take my pounce pad that's full of chalk. Very messy. Okay, there's the pounce pad, and I'm just going to gently rub it on the top to kind of give me what I want. Hopefully that works. Yes, look at that. Look at that. Can you see that? Of course you can see it. Okay, very nice. Now we're going to put all this chalk back before it makes a big mess. Okay, put it in the bag. Luckily, chalk comes out. This one is iron-on chalk, I think. Iron-off chalk, excuse me. So I'm just going to put this away. It's making a big mess on my black fabric. So that's a consideration. I think I will be marking it ahead of time before I even make a mess. Oh, wow. This is really messy. Okay, so I'm ready. That's what I'm going to stitch out. Theoretically, my picker fabric is just below here. It's in this area, so it should work. And it's got Heat and Bond on it. So after I'm done, then I press it. After I cut and reveal it, and it's perfect, then I press it and it's done. That's what I'm going to find out. Let's stitch. All right, we are going to stitch. I'm using my inside out mini ruler with the pop socket to help me around the curves to make them more uniform. Okay. Follow the top. that's the stitching. The stitching part's done. Now, I'm going to cut away at this fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook here, my seam ripper, and I'm just going to gently try to feel that I'm on the top fabric only. Okay. As far as I can see, the fabric's there. I'll just snip down. I don't want to cut the bottom fabric. I just want to cut the top. So I'm just going to gently cut along the stitch line. Very close to the stitch line. Turn my scissors this way. Okay, right along the stitch line. We just want to make sure that we don't cut the stitches. Okay. Just cutting along the stitch line. There's the picker fabric. It's very nice. Trying not to cut. Okay. Cutting along the stitch line. Gently pulling a little bit. Just gently snug it up against the stitches so as not to cut them. There's the picker fabric. Peek it out, okay? Just cutting ever so gently. Can't really turn it, I have to get up under it. Pulling it up. Trying to snug up against the stitches. There. Okay. This is very similar to what I was doing. Okay. So that's the effect. Let's just see if we can get up under there. Oh, that's beautiful. What do you think? Nice, right? Okay, that works. Now, I just gently press this after I'm done, and that keeps it in place and solidifies. It wasn't difficult to stitch at all. They do say to wait until you're absolutely done with the quilt and then press the areas to firm it all up. Make sure you've got all your snipping done. There, that is beautiful, right? Depending on the thread you use. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. Okay. That is the TEMP LEE method. Worked just fine. I think that'll work good. So, I think that'll really work good on my whole cloth quilts. And that is a method I'm going to use, definitely. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And have a great quilting day. Thanks for stopping by The Closet Quilter.